We're going to use this commenter's essay as a teaching moment because he, like many who are new to Nihonto or Japanese swords, don't realize that the steel blade is considered to be the sword, regardless of whether it is wearing battle mounts or if it is in a protective shirasaya. It doesn't matter if the shirasaya was made yesterday. If it's holding a 1,000-year-old sword, it's considered to be a 1,000-year-old sword. And that's a question of linguistics, culture, convention. Now, in order to prove his point that this sword wasn't 400 years old and that the certification from the MBTHK for the sword didn't tell us anything, he went down the rabbit hole. Now, that's a good thing. You can do a lot of research and learn a lot. But if you go in with an initial bias, you're always going to come up with the wrong answers. Here, he brings up the scandals that plagued the NBTHK, specifically the local branches that were being bribed by the Yakuza in the 1970s. This is an issue that is widely resolved, and most collectors find these new certificates to be quite legit. Next, he says these papers do not date the sword. This is correct. Some of them do and some of them don't. This is attributed to the dotanuki school, which was active during the late Muromachi period, which was basically about mid to late 1500s. And he could find this out if he bothered to read the link that he sent. And here he says that without metallurgical analysis, the sword is worthless. Now, I don't know a whole lot about spectrometry, but I do understand that you can do some really cool stuff. And they can analyze artifacts and determine where various components actually came from. However, you need a very large sample size in order to make comparisons, and that's just not the convention within Japanese swords at this time. So, for the time being, most collectors are generally fine with MBTHK certifications. They're based on centuries of scholarship, analyzing the blade, the hamon, the folds in the steel. Everything can tell us about who made the sword and roughly when.